Hey everyone, my name is PJ Medin. I play guitar in the band Breakthrough, and today I'm giving you an introductory look at EQing your drums in your DAW by using the pre-programmed EQs. So the point of this video is just to give you a sense of how to use the pre-programmed EQs when you're EQing drums in your DAW. And yeah, it's great to have these different plugins and things that you can buy where most of the heavy lifting has already been done for you. But for those of us who don't have that in the budget, you can still get decent sounds by just using the pre-programmed EQs in your DAW. I'm using GarageBand and it's pre-programmed EQs. By the way, these EQs weren't like slapdash thrown together by a monkey, right? These were programmed by people who have a sense of what sounds best for that particular piece of the kit. So they give you, if nothing else, a good place to start. And then when you are using them, I recommend taking a look at the EQ window and just seeing, okay, what's been pulled out and what's been boosted. And then use that as like your starting point when you're recording, or sorry, EQing your drums. What's a good place to start from when you're doing your EQs? Well, this will show you. So take a look at that EQ window. Just to kind of give you a sense of why EQs are important for your drums and other things. I recorded a drum track and then just copied and pasted it and put some EQs on it. We're going to take a listen to that right now so you can hear the massive difference that EQs make. All right, so you could hear that there was a pretty big difference there in the way that the drums sounded pre-EQ and then with an EQ. All I did when EQing or learning how to EQ drums is I just went into the EQ section for every piece and went into the drum category and I went in and found that piece and was like, okay, which options for that piece sound best to me? And then I would play the track back with one EQ and then play it back with another one. And then I got a sense of what I liked. And then when I was done, I went back to controls and then used the compressor option and went into the drum category and was like, okay, what compressor option do I like best for that piece? I didn't have any pre-knowledge on how to EQ stuff. I just knew it was important and that I needed to learn how to do it, and that I didn't have the cash for a plugin, and so I was gonna have to figure it out on my own. And so most of this was done by just going, what do I like? What do I like the sound of? It's great to have references, by the way. Take a listen to the drums in those tracks and then just do your best to kind of replicate that. I do have my references that I used, but for the most part, I relied on personal preference. So go ahead and record your drum and then go into the EQs and figure out, okay, what sounds best, and then start from there. Take a look at what's been pulled out, what's been added. Take a look at those numbers. You can kind of see down here. You can see down in the lower right-hand corner. And that'll give you a good sense of where to start. When you do have a custom EQ that you really dig, go ahead and save that so that you don't have to recreate it for every track. Now, depending on some tracks, some drum EQs are going to sound better than others, but at least when you're making those changes per track, you'll have your own custom EQ that you're using to start with. I've used this method when recording drums for my different demos and the couple of singles that I've done on my own, and I've been pretty happy with it. In addition to making EQ selections, I also recommend taking a look at like the different plugin options that are available to you and just adding things. And then do keep an eye out on different companies that make EQs or make plugins, sorry. Periodically, they will release plugins for free. For instance, I use let's see, where is it? Audio units. I use the Waves Factory Snare Buzz plugin for my drums just to kind of emphasize the snares a little bit more. I think it makes the snare sound more realistic. It was free. I downloaded it. I gave it a shot, decided I liked it, so I keep it and I use it in my drum mixes. It's also good to take a look at like what are the order of the plugins that I'm using. Again, with no prior knowledge on what sounds best, I just tried stuff. So I figured, okay, well, we always start with the snare, right? So I threw the snare buzz up front, and then the general EQ, and then the compressor to change the way it kind of sits or pops out in the mix, and then I added a verb at the end. And I'm sure that there are better verbs that you could use, but again, with no previous knowledge, I just tried stuff. I really dug the platinum verb, and then I just made some changes. Generally, I have my wet turned up to like 45, so it's at least a little bit noticeable when mixed in with other instruments. But I think the default option sounds great for just the drums. I just wanted to try stuff, and then I went with what do I like best. And by the way, if you want to hear my drum EQs in action, I'll link out to a couple of singles that I recorded here at the end of the video. As you go back through my demo videos and listen to the tracks, you'll notice that the drums in those tracks sound different with time. And that's because I learned stuff and applied the changes as I went along. I didn't allow myself to feel any pressure to get it perfect right out of the gate. I just applied what I knew and then changed things as I learned more. And there's nothing wrong with that. And one other thing I wanted to mention is that you'll see here that some of these tracks are labeled heavy and some are SoCal. I went through the different trigger options and was like, okay, I like the kick and I like the snare and the cymbals or whatever from this one kit, and I really dig the toms, etc. from this other kit. And then that's basically what I use. That's my rule. For drums, I'll use these pieces from this kit and these pieces from the other. My saved EQs sound great across all of the different pieces that I've tried out. Thank you so much for checking out this video. If you liked it, go ahead and give it a thumbs up and subscribe to Medins Make Music for more.